Chad Hiltz, the protagonist of the Discovery show Bad Chad Customs, is a very lucky individual who was able to parlay his talents as an automobile designer into the establishment of a successful business. Fans are well aware of his creativity and resourcefulness, which he uses to transform commonplace items and scrap metal into one-of-a-kind custom vehicles on a budget. However, a significant portion of the credit should also go to his partner in finance and business, Jolene McIntyre. They were successful in building a multi-million-dollar enterprise together. Jolene McIntyre is an exceptionally talented woman who was born and raised in the province of Nova Scotia. She began her athletic career as a young soccer player, earned a degree in finance, and then went on to earn a degree in kinesiology. Before she met Chad Hiltz at an annual Rockabilly Weekend auto event, she had a few jobs under her belt. It was clear from the beginning that Jolene was going to have a huge influence at Green Goblin Customs. This was evident from the very first time they met. Jolene took it upon herself to administer Green Goblin Customs shortly after she started working at the company. She planned to establish a business and a name for herself in the Chad Hiltz industry, and she was successful in doing so. When Jolene first started working for Green Goblin Customs, she faced a number of obstacles that needed to be addressed. Her objective was to expand the firm, but Chad's location was limited, and he could only handle a select few customer builds at a time. The shop's finances suffered as a result of this limitation, which ultimately prevented Green Goblin Customs from expanding. She disclosed this information in one of her films, showing how she and Chad established a team by recruiting Chad's friends. It's possible that not everyone is aware of this, but Jolene was the one who brought Colton on board at Green Goblin Customs. This turned out to be one of the wisest choices she's ever made in her life. Jolene came to the conclusion that the most effective strategy for growth was to move Chad's business online. As a result, she made the decision to make use of social media in order to expand Green Goblin's sphere of influence and number of customers. The results were fantastic, and Chad developed a substantial online following as a result. Jolene is also quite enthusiastic about automobiles. During an interview, Jolene explained that when Chad began making a duplicate of the $40 million Bugatti that Ralph Lauren owns, she wanted the world to know how magnificent it was. This was Jolene's motivation for wanting the world to see the replica. She videotaped the whole thing and then released the footage on the internet, which ultimately led to Chad developing a following for his work. The films ended up going viral, which brought them to the attention of Discovery Channel, which ultimately led to the network making an offer. After Chad accepted the offer, the concept for a reality television show that would focus on his store and the innovative customized builds he creates was developed. In January 2019, Bad Chad Customs made its debut on television for the first time. Jolene was responsible for a major part of this as well. She oversaw Green Goblin Customs in addition to working on the production crew, where she was responsible for finding consumers for the show. For example, Jolene and Chad came up with the concept of building a nug inside a truck to contribute to the increased popularity of the show. They also gave away for free, to attendees of the Rockabilly Weekend car show, automobiles that they had manufactured themselves. The television program has evolved into one of Discovery Channel's most current hits during the course of its run. And despite the widespread speculation that Jolene would be quitting the show because of the tumultuous relationship she shares with her fiancé, she continues to appear on the program. It is reasonable to suppose that Jolene will continue to have a presence on television for as long as the show is still being broadcast. The efforts that Jolene and Chad have been putting in at Green Goblin Customs have paid off, and the business is doing rather nicely. When you factor in the publicity and income that Jolene has received from the first 2 seasons of the reality program, it is evident that she has earned a large amount of cash. Although there is no official record of just how much money Jolene makes as a reality TV star, it is evident that she has received a lot of income from the show she appears on. Jolene devotes all of her time to controlling Chad Hiltz and making certain that he and his team complete their tasks without exceeding the allotted spending limit for those projects.